for you all. All right, it's going to be very important for you all to listen tonight. So if you want to know what NACCAS is going to be looking for, or how to prepare for your visit, your first visit from NACCAS, then you definitely want to tune in, take some notes, open your ears, open your eyes, because I'm going to go through this step by step. So what we're looking at right now, this is a candidate consultation visit. So basically, what have we done leading up to this? There are several things we've done. We've been open for at least 18 months. We've gone to a NACCAS workshop. What else have we done? We have submitted our ISS. That's one thing we've done. Hold on, let's start back. Okay, so we've submitted our ISS, and now we're ready for our first visit. Now, the first visit is going to be 2 team members from NACCAS. 2 people, okay? Now, there's no need to be scared, uptight. They're not going to send you to jail, beat you up, give you all these limitations. The first visit is just a friendly visit. It doesn't matter how your paperwork is, how the school looks, because they're just going to come in and tell you. They're going to say, hey, you need to get this together, this, that. So no need to be scared on your first visit. Now, in order to get this visit, you're going to have to fill out this form, your NACCAS institution reference number. Now, once you get approved for candidate status, when you submit your application, you've gone to the workshop and you paid your money for your application, uploaded all the required documents, the NACCAS institution reference number, that's the school's social security number. That's your social security number. Anytime you submit any documents to NACCAS, any letters, you definitely want to have your reference number. So they're going to give your school a reference number. Okay, the next thing you're going to do, official name of institution that's approved by NACCAS. A lot of schools mess up right here. Whatever name that has been approved by NACCAS, that's the name that you're going to put on here. The street address, NACCAS is very detailed. If you have a suite 2 or suite 1, or if you don't have a suite on there, it's very important that you put your exact address that's been approved by NACCAS. Very important. Now, we can scroll down. How much is the visit? $2,351. You see that right here. And I know a lot of y'all are saying, woo, that's a lot of money. Well, you're going to make a lot of money. By the time you're finished with NACCAS, you're going to spend about $11,000 to NACCAS, but that's not all at once. And then you're going to have to get audited financial statements. That's probably $4,000 or $5,000. But you have to look at how much money are you going to make? See, you're going to get that back from one student. So we got to change our thought process. You're going to get that back from one student once you get approved for financial aid. Now, we're moving on down. Number 3, this copy of this institutional self-study, you definitely want to do it electronic. You want to upload it in your back portal. Once you get approved for candidate status with NACCAS, you'll be uploading all of your documents in the back portal. Back when I started back in 1998, we had to make 7 copies of that institutional self-study. That was about 300 pages long for one self-study. We had to make 7 copies at Kinko's and put them in a 3-ring binder with bookmarks in the whole binder 7 times, and then put it in a big old box, take it to FedEx, and ship it off. So things have changed a lot. Y'all have it a lot easier now. Now, the next thing that we're going to do. Okay, so now we talked about uploading it. The reason why you want to upload it, because it's going to be easier. You're not going to have to waste all that time to go to Kinko's, make all these copies. Plus, if you do not upload it electronically, they're going to charge you an extra fee. All right, now, contact information. This is the person, either the owner of the school or who NACCAS is going to be talking to the day that they come to your school to inspect. All right. Now, once you submit this, this form will be uploaded in your back portal. All right. Now, down here, request for a Saturday visit. No, you don't want to request for a Saturday visit. Why? Because they're going to charge you, look, an extra $1,225 if you request a Saturday visit. So you don't want to request a Saturday visit. So down here, no, I am not interested in a Saturday visit. Make sure you check that, sign it right here, date it. Now, that's our candidate consultation. We ready for that? Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do, when you upload this, it's very important that y'all read everything. So you're going to have this application right here. You're going to pay your money. Also, a copy of the most recent workshop certificate that you attended. Okay, the most recent workshop. You're going to have your certificate, your certificate saying you attended this NACCAS workshop. All right, now, the next thing, after you upload that, you're going to request your visit. NACCAS usually will come out probably between 3 to 6 months. It depends on how backed up they are. If they're not backed up at all, they may come out a little earlier, a little quicker, but usually between 3 to 6 months, they'll set a date. Now, the next thing that everybody wants to know, how do I prepare for it? What are they going to be looking for? What documents do I need? How do I prepare these documents? If there's something that you all want to see, I will share the checklist that NACCAS is going to go by, and I will also share a gold school member who we assisted in helping getting their paperwork together. So if y'all want to see that, just let me know if you all want to see that, because I wanted to share everything on this candidate visit so you all would at least know, and it will alleviate some of the fear and scarcity and all of that. So since y'all said yes, a couple of y'all did, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you the NACCAS checklist. Okay, can everybody see this checklist? Let me know. Let me know if y'all can see this checklist. Okay, Amber said yes, Zandra. All right, now, if you look at this, what I'm going to show you on this, NACCAS will email you this, okay? And when they email you this, it's going to tell you exactly everything that you need to do. So we're going to go down here. They're also going to send you a survey, and you can fill that out and submit it back. But let's get to the documents, okay? Let's get to the documents. Here are the documents. Now, also, this is very important. I want y'all to read this. On the day of the on-site evaluation, the institution will have until 3 p.m. to provide any additional documentation or corrected documentation to the team. So basically, what they're saying, if they come to your school and something's out of compliant, non-compliant, there's a document that you're missing, your fire extinguisher may be expired. Well, if it is, so imagine if they came to, we'll just say Amber and Artez School in Washington, and the fire extinguisher was expired. Okay, well, Amber can just say, hey, Artez, I need you to go down to Walmart or Home Depot and get a fire extinguisher. You get a $20 fire extinguisher and bring it back, and they won't write you up. See, that's the importance. Little bitty things like that can really help you prevent you from getting a limitation and getting enrolled up. So I'm just giving y'all some different scenarios. It may be a document in your catalog or the verbiage or something, or just a human error that you may have overlooked. Well, if you're a gold member, you just pick up the phone and call, hey, I need the catalog, the SAP redone or the refund because they're saying it needs this. And that's something that evaluators may do. You may get an A-type personality, a picky one, a prejudiced one. You don't know. You may get one that just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. They may not like you because you look like their ex that they just got a divorce with. It could be a lot of different reasons. You just don't know. So one thing that you can do, you'll be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, change this, because we'll be on standby, and then we can email that to you, because you're going to be under so much pressure, especially on the final visit. See, the first visit, that's a piece of cake because they're not going to write you up. They're not going to write you up. The only thing they're going to do is give you a little report saying, fix this, fix that. It'll be 2 team members. But on this final visit, that's when they're going to give you limitations. They can write you up. Well, a limitation is not the end of the world. It's just going to prolong you from getting accredited, because you have to respond to them within 45 days on why you got the limitation, how you're going to prevent it, how it's not going to happen again. And you got to also prove to them that you're now in compliance. So I'll give you an example. Imagine they came to your school and for some reason, a diploma was missing from the file that they picked. And a lot of times the file that they usually pick is usually the one that is maybe missing something. But if y'all go by y'all checklist, you don't have to worry about that. And all of y'all should have your checklist at the beginning of each folder. So you can just check to know what's in there and what's not. So say there is not a high school diploma, and you can't produce that high school diploma before NACCAS leaves your campus. Well, they're going to give you a limitation. So now you're going to have to write this big report on why you got the limitation, how you're going to prevent it. We're going to prevent it because from now we have a checklist and we're not enrolling any student unless they have their high school diploma first. Now you got to prove that you're in compliance. So just say you had 4 students to enroll by the time you send that back in. Well, you're going to have maybe a copy of those 4 students, their diploma, to prove that you're now in compliance. So it's things like that. Now, we're going to keep going. So you definitely want to make sure that whatever they say you don't have or whatever, try to get it by 3 p.m. That'll help. So you won't get any limitations. But like I said, if you do, it's not the end of the world. Now, the next thing that they're going to require, this right here, is self-explanatory, y'all. Student list. They want to currently attending students. So you're going to have to get a list of all your current attending students. Okay. They also want to know the date that you created that. So it says the date the report was run. Well, that's basically the date that it was created, because some of y'all are not going to have the FAME system, the Genesis, Discovery Pro, Smart System, or whatever. I didn't have that at the time. So I had to do everything by hand. Why didn't I have it? Because I didn't have the money. Okay, so now each student start date. So you'll put the student's name, then at the top you'll have start date. So their name here, put the start dates. Okay, course enrolled, whether it's Barber, Cosmo, Nails, Aesthetics. So you have course enrolled at the top, and then like a little Excel grid sheet, approximate number of actual hours. So they may have 320 actual hours. We know what actual hours are. Hours that we were physically in school. Physically in school. Scheduled hours. And I've already went over SAPs with y'all and trained y'all on video trainings about the actual hours versus the scheduled hours. What is an actual hour? What is a scheduled hour? So I'll break that down real quick for the people that were not here. Imagine that they're scheduled for, they sign up for your school and they scheduled to do 30 hours a week. Okay. 30 scheduled hours per week. But what if they missed a day? They was doing 6 hours a day. They missed one day. So at the end of that week, 30 scheduled hours, but how many actual hours were they there? Remember, they're doing 6 hours a day. They missed one day. So 24 actual hours, 30 scheduled hours. So we'll keep going. Include students on the leave of absence. If they went on a leave of absence, make sure you have the leave of absence form. A lot of schools will put a student on a leave of absence and they don't have them to fill out the form. You want to document everything. So you're going to have that list. The next list is your graduates list. They want the graduates from the past 12 months prior to the date, okay, that they're going to visit. So just say they're going to visit the school February the 24th, then what they're going to want from February the 24th last year, all the way up to this year, last 12 months from the visit, if they're having a visit on the 24th. So now on those graduates, it's going to tell you exactly, get all the graduates, that list. And if you have the FAME system, Genesis, any of those software systems, you can click a button and it'll automatically print this out. So you won't have to be looking through all these files and all of that. So a software system, it will automate your business. It'll be less time, less work, less headaches. Course enroll, schedule graduation date. Now let's talk about that. When they fill out an enrollment agreement, and we've already went over an enrollment agreement, we've had trainings on that where all we did was talk about an enrollment agreement for an hour. And I dissected it and went through everything from top to bottom. So now, this is what we want to do. Schedule graduation date. Imagine a student enrolled today and they are supposed to graduate a year from today. So on the enrollment agreement, you'll put the start date and they schedule to graduate a year later. So that would be what, February the 22nd, 2024, because this is February the 22nd, the day we're doing this, 2023. That's the scheduled graduation date. That's on the contract, the enrollment agreement. Now, just say that they got sick and they were out for a month or whatever, or 2 weeks or a week. Well, and they graduated a little bit later. Just say they graduated instead of February the 22nd, March the 23rd. That's the actual graduation, the date that they actually graduated. Okay. Now, so you have two lists now, current attending and graduate. Third list they want is the withdrawal list. Students that quit, were terminated. Those are the two types of students. And you all are going to terminate some students. You're going to kick some students out. I put a lot of students out. Yes, I did. And I always put my students out in front of the whole school because I wanted my students to know that he's crazy. He's not going to take no crap. He doesn't play, because if you all get a reputation of letting students do what they want to do or whatever in front of other students, what you're doing is you're punishing your good students and rewarding the bad students. So the minute that student does something, you probably want to bring them in the office and talk to them woman to woman, man to man, man to woman, or whatever, and let them know. If they go do it again, you need to punish them. You need to put them out in front of the whole school. So the word is going to get around that such and such is crazy. So the word was around in Nashville, well, Chin is crazy. He used to sell drugs. He's been to prison. He's institutionalized. He's crazy. So it's better to be feared than loved, because you don't want those students running over you. So now back on terminating or withdraw, or students that withdrew, that just couldn't finish. You have to put exactly what it says, the start date, the last date that they attended, the withdrawal determination date by the institution, the actual clock hours that they had when they withdrew or were terminated, and the scheduled hours. We already know what the scheduled hours and actual hours are. Now, if you have the computer software system, it will tally that up automatically for you. And we've already thanks, Sam. We've already had a training on this, all right, on withdrawals. Also, sometimes you may have to call the police. I had to call the police quite a few times because my school, it was in the hood, although they didn't have anything to do with it, but a lot of times these students are going to try you. Now, so now we have the current attending, we got the graduates, withdrawals. Those are the three lists that you need. So you're going to have a spreadsheet just like this, what it's asking for. Now, once you have that, you're going to have to put the electronic bookmarks in. So you're going to need Adobe Acrobat. And I've shown you all about the electronic bookmarks. I've shown you all how that works. I'll show you a little bit tonight, but now, so at a minimum, the bookmarks. We already talked about Section A. Okay, Section B. Everything that NACCAS is asking for right now, it's in your institutional self-study, the ISS. Now, what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to go in your ISS and extract this information and put it in a file. And when you extract each piece, you're going to have to label it. And then you're going to have to bookmark it. Now, I know you're probably thinking, wow, well, that's a lot of work. Well, it is kind of time consuming, but you can pay someone. You may not want to clean your house. You may not want to wash your car. Certain things you may not want to do. Well, just pay someone to do that. We have a team that y'all can pay. They'll gladly do it. The ladies are sitting at home. That's what they do. So I'm going to show you all of this right here so it won't be confusing. I'm going to show y'all exactly what it is. Because some of y'all have never seen a cross-reference leave of absence policy. Some of y'all have never seen a cross-reference satisfactory academic progress policy. Some of y'all never seen an institutional refund policy. So a lot of things on here you've never seen. Policy on distance education. Some schools don't do distance education. So that would be NA. Externship and internship policy. Most schools, 99% of them are not doing that. They don't have these high school students coming to the school or whatever, or doing intern, extern. So that would be NA on a lot of schools. So what we're going to do, the ability to benefit policy, a lot of schools don't have that right here. That's where they take a test. If they don't have a GED or high school diploma, some schools offer that test. Now, so what we're going to do, I'm going to go step by step because we got like 30 minutes. And I'm just showing you all of this. All of these are going to have to be bookmarked. And I'm going to show you what these look like. And once you have all of those done, then you're going to upload it in your NACCAS portal. And you all don't have to worry about this. I didn't do this part. I was in Ms. Belman's program. They did all this for me. So you all don't have to get scared or thinking, darn, that's a lot. No, it's not. If you have somebody else to do it, it's not a lot. Now, let's go down because I want y'all to see some things down here. And I'm going to go back up. So when they come, you can look at this. You're going to greet the evaluators. You're going to show them where they're going to be working. Okay. You'll have your documents and everything ready. They're going to take a tour of the school. What are they going to be touring? Well, they're going to make sure you got your bathroom. They're going to make sure that your stations are working, the chairs. They're going to make sure the shampoo bowls, you got hot and cold, running water. They'll be looking at your license to make sure the license are there. They're going to make sure you got that sign on the wall on the clinic floor, all work by supervised students. They're going to look at your advertisement, your business card, postcards, or whatever, and make sure that it has all work by supervised students because that's a NACCAS regulation. So those are some of the things that they'll be looking at. They're also going to be looking at, do you have evacuation plans? Now, what is that? You know how when you go to a hotel and on the door or on the wall, they have, like in case of a fire, how to get out. So basically you'll have your blueprint, your layout of your school, the inside, and in your office, you'll have like a circle on a piece of paper and then a line drawn out how to get outside. On your clinic floor, you can circle what a clinic floor is on that paper and then draw a line on how to get out from the clinic floor to outside. The same if you're in the bathroom. A lot of schools miss that. They do not have that evacuation plan on the clinic floor, the office, the classroom, the bathroom. So that's something that all of y'all want to have up. Now, on your first visit, if you don't have that, they're going to tell you all of that stuff. But I'm just sharing a lot of things with you. Also, they're going to interview students. Yes, they're going to interview some students, not all of the students. They'll handpick, a couple of them, and they're going to interview them. Well, what are they going to ask them? They're going to be asking them things about the school. Well, what are some of the things? And I'll give y'all some of those list of questions or whatever, but some of the questions they're going to ask, does Michelle bring you out of the classroom to go do a clinic floor practical service? The answer is no, because when you're having class, you're not supposed to take a student out of the classroom and make them go work on the clinic floor on a client if you're having theory. They're also going to ask, did you have orientation before you started? A lot of the students are not going to know nothing. So they'll probably say, no, I ain't had no orientation. I didn't get no catalog or whatever. Well, that's why you have your pre-orientation receipt, orientation checklist that students have to fill out and have to check. We've gone over that in previous trainings. So now when that student lies or whatever is how I don't know what they're talking about, the NACCAS evaluator is going to come back to you. Hey, let me see John Doe's file. Okay, here it is. They're going to see that John Doe lied or Sally Sue. So they ask them questions like that. So now, and we're going to go back up and go through all of those little steps. But a lot of people are saying, well, what are they looking for in the files? This is what they're looking for. It's no secret. The enrollment agreement, you already have that document. The enrollment agreement must be filled out completely. Don't leave any blanks. And we've gone over that before. We've had a full training where I just went over the enrollment agreement. Where it has guardian signature, okay, if you're over 18, you know that doesn't pertain to you. So what you're going to do is draw a line or put an NA. Do not leave anything blank. All right. Any leave of absences, you're going to put that'll be in there. A schedule change. You have documents for all of that stuff. Make sure you document everything. Put that in the student's file. Student payment cards or payment ledger, the receipts when they've been paying. If you have one of the electronic systems, of course, it'll keep up with that automatically, and you can just print that out and put it in the student's file. But if not, if you're doing everything by hand, just make sure you have it documented. Now, let's go on down. Everything on here is self-explanatory. You got to get a high school diploma or GED or transcript showing that they completed. That needs to be in the file. Okay? And there are schools that just let students come, no GED, no high school diploma, no transcript completed. Okay, well, once you get accredited, once you're going through accreditation, you want to make sure you got all of that in compliance. Now, if you hadn't done that in the past, okay, but when you get ready to go through accreditation, you want to make sure. Proof of age if required. Some states, require you have to be 16, some 18. That depends on your state. Get a copy of their ID or driver's license. If you have any interview forms, most schools don't have any interview forms. Some do. Recommendation letters, a lot of schools don't require that. Application for enrollment, the registration form, most schools have that. Okay, documentation of receipt of pre-enrollment information. Now, that's the form, the pre-enrollment the orientation and orientation checklist, that's what they're talking about. You all have already seen those documents. You have those documents. Everybody that's in the program, you have those documents. And if you look in your back portal, even if you don't know what the documents are, I went over a full orientation. I videotaped it, and I even put the documents on the screen. So even if you didn't know what the document was, you know what it is after watching that training video. Going on down. ATB tests. Most of y'all not gonna have that. A lot of y'all not gonna even accept those type of students. Immigration information, 9 times out of 10, that's not gonna apply to any of you all. Now, what's next? Training agreements. That's if you have a training agreement with this high school, and these high school students come and they're enrolled in your school. Let's see. Any state required elements for enrollment, that's probably not going to pertain to a lot of y'all. Other student information, if applicable, excuse absence documentation, you may have that. Some of y'all, some not. State board registration form. Some state boards require a certain registration form. If yours does, you want to have that in there. If you've had any counseling sessions, and that's another thing. When these students are disruptive, you all need to have a paper trail. Every time, Miss Velma used to always tell me, Chin, cover your behind, but she used another word. She'd always say, Chin, cover your behind, but it was another word that you all know what she used. She always said documentation beats conversation. And whenever a student was disruptive, put the pen and paper on them and make them sign it. If they don't sign it, put them out of the school. Always had a paper trail. So if they said, well, I'm gonna call the state board. Here, call the state board. Here's the number right there. Go ahead and call them. And you know what? I would even call the state board and let them know, look, John Doe or Sally Sue, they're disruptive, such and such, such and such. You will be getting some calls. So I would let the state board know ahead of time, but I would keep a paper trail on those disruptive students. And you got counseling forms, advising forms in your back office. Make sure you do that. And if they don't want to sign it, put them out. Ms. Velma would say, put their butt out, but she always used another word. We'll keep going. Okay, now, grades, report cards, tests. You want to keep up with, especially the SAPs, the Satisfactory Academic Progress Reports. Depending on how many hours is in your program. And I'll give you an example. And we've gone over a SAP before too. We'll just say there's a 1,500 hour clock out. And I know some of y'all got 1,000, 750, 600, but I'm just going to use 1,500 as an example. You're going to have to do a Satisfactory Academic Progress Report at 450 hours, 900 hours, and 1,200 hours. And those are actual hours. We're not going to talk about that tonight because I did a full training on that. You want to make sure you have those in the student's file. If you don't, you want to be able to print one out from your computer system so NACCAS can see it. Okay, hours. I've given y'all an electronic software system, a contact. This will be one of the most time-consuming, cumbersome, mind-boggling, frustrating things if you're keeping up with the hours by hand. It's going to be time-consuming. I would definitely get a time clock to keep up with those hours because that's going to save you a lot of time. So, and you can have the students to sign off. And I always had the students to sign off. Why? Because I wanted to document the time. I always had them students to sign because them students will say anything. They'll lie, Sometimes, hey, they even tell the truth sometimes. And a lot of times, the students that you try to help, sometimes it will come back and bite you in the behind, like Ms. Velma was saying. So you got to be very careful about that. The ones that you help the most, sometimes they'll stab you in your back. So whatever you're doing, cover your behind. Cover your behind. And if that student is lying or telling the truth, documentation beats conversation, because they're going to threaten you. Well, I'm going to call the Department of Education. You stealing my money. You're going to hear all kinds of crap, especially when you're dealing with these ninjas. You're going to go through all types of stuff. So I'm forewarning you all beforehand. Now, let's see what else. Leave of absence forms. You have that in your back office. What else we got? The SAP, I already told y'all about those. Warning or probation notices, if applicable. Appeal documentation. Documentation of withdrawal or termination. Institutional refund calculation. That's another one. When students withdraw, or they're terminated, put out, or whatever, or they quit, a lot of schools are not doing the withdrawal refund calculations. Even if the student does not owe you any money, or you don't owe the student any money, you still have to do that. And I did a full training on that. Took probably about an hour with you all and recorded step by step, showing you how to properly do that. And in your back office, you even have an example. You have an example of one so you can look and make sure. Let's see. Documentation of student complaints. If a student got a complaint, put it in writing. Have everything in writing. Okay, a student graduated. You need documentation. The graduate exit survey. A lot of schools are not doing that. Student graduates and they're not doing no graduate exit survey. They're not doing anything. You need that. With the supporting documents, let's see. The number 17, that's not going to apply to most schools. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to show you all the checklist, one that's already done, so y'all can see. So this is from NACCAS, what we just went over for your visit. Now let's go to a checklist that the school has to do. Okay, now this school list of current students selected. Okay, remember that list, and we had to have the actual hours and all of that. So that would be after this. The graduate student list, remember that. You have those. The withdrawal list. Okay, and remember the next thing, cross-reference leave of absence. This was already in their ISS. So what we had to do was we had to extract that. When I say extract, pull it out, just the leave of absence policy. Now this is the NACCAS leave of absence policy checklist. And what happens is you have to put the page that this is on for the leave of absence. Is written and identified as a leave of absence policy. It includes the reason for which an LOA may be granted. Let's stop there. Now let's go to the leave of absence. Number one was what? We had to identify, where does it say it's a leave of absence? Right here. So we had to put a number one right there. Then conditions to qualify for the leave of absence. Number two. All right. Does that make sense? So that's the checklist. The next thing, cross-reference. And I'm going to answer all questions at the end. Now, satisfactory academic progress policy. This is the NACCAS checklist. And what you have to do, your satisfactory academic progress policy must have all of this verbiage and the correct verbiage. Okay. So I'll just put what page. It's on page 1. Applies to every student enrolled in a NACCAS approved program. So that's number 2. So let's go to the school SAP policy, and we're just gonna look for number 2. Although it's a lot of different checks and balances on here. It's like 20, what is it, 27 right there. So let's go. Hold on. Let me go back up. We're looking for number 2. We're looking for number 2. I'm going the wrong way. Sorry. Now I'm going the right way. Look. Applies to every student enrolled, part-time or full-time in any program. You see that number 2? So all of the questions that they're asking, we have to be able to identify that and put that number there in this satisfactory academic progress policy. So that's why it's very important that you do this. But this is already done from your institutional self-study. We just had to extract that out. Now, the refund policy, you got to have this in your catalog. So you have to extract that, and NACCAS wants you to put those numbers in again. I mean, we could look at one, applies to all terminations for any reason by either party. We can go down here and find that. Now, I'm not going to go through each one of these like this. I just wanted to show you all, like this identifies this a refund policy. That's number 1. Then there's 2. Look, the following policy will apply to all terminations for any reason by either party. See that number 2 right there? Okay. So now the enrollment agreement. And notice that when we click on that bookmark over there, you notice how it automatically goes to this page. You have to go in there and physically, the ladies have to physically do each one of these bookmarks. And let me show you this. In order to get this to work, they have to type this in right here. Once they type that in on here, then they have to copy that and create a bookmark over there and paste it. See? Now, watch this cross-reference catalog. So I'm going to click on the bookmark. Look how I went to cross-reference catalog. So policy on distance education. This school doesn't have that. So they had to type this in. Externship, it does not have that. So I'm not going to go through all of these. I'll just go through them real quick. Instructor meeting, admissions policy is right here. Transfer policy, reentry policy, ability to benefit, they don't have that. Internal grievance policy, academic advising policy, attendance policy, state rules and regulations, continuing education, list of instructors, license credentials, performance evaluations, continuing education, they don't do that. Substitute plan, list of substitute instructors, instructor meeting minutes, verification of distance education, they don't have that. Access to the institution catalog, this is documented that they got the catalog. All the rules and regs were told to the students, job placement, prerequisites for employment. I can go on and on and on. But this is basically everything that you all saw on this checklist. That's what this is. So that's what you got to have prepared. Now, all of this was taken out of the ISS. Okay? It was taken out of the ISS, but you had to put it in order. But all of this will be in your ISS. I mean, I could pull up an ISS, but it's not going to be in this order. So it's very important that you have everything in order. So this is for your NACCAS visit. So I just wanted you all to see this. Now, we have a lot of videos in the back portal. There's probably at least, I'd say 40 videos talking about NACCAS, going through the accreditation. And I encourage each and every one of you all to go through the videos or play the videos, even when y'all are cleaning up not doing anything, you should at least play the videos and listen. Even the videos where I'm doing trainings, y'all should at least just be playing them. Some of y'all husbands and wives and kids know my voice because y'all are playing those videos and they're hearing me talk. And some things I know y'all are going to agree on, and some things I know y'all not going to agree on. But 99.9% of the time, everything that I'm sharing with you all, it didn't come from me. It came from Miss Velma, my mentor, an older wise woman who was making over $1 million a month. She had a high school education and she had all of these schools. She did it for 50 years. And I trained under her for like 20 years. And everything that she shared with me, I'm just regurgitating and sharing with you. It's not my program, it's her program. She just allowed me to partner with her some years back. And I'm just sharing it with you all. The only thing I've done is made it more easier for y'all, the technology. We didn't have the Zooms, all of this, the download and copy and paste. We didn't have that. We had big booklets. So I just wanted to share this with you all tonight because I want you all to all succeed and have generational money, financial freedom, time freedom. And this is going to be your most surest and easiest way for a beauty professional to have time freedom and financial freedom. I know we have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of this stuff. Y'all got all these people with all these little shiny objects dangling in front of you. You can make 100,000 this or me. No, this right here has stood the test of time. The first Black female millionaire, Madam C.J. Walker, she owned a school. And she had a product line. That ought to tell you all something. And when I say Black, white, straight, any of that, I'm not being prejudiced or whatever, because my best friend was Caucasian, Miss Velma. That was like my mama. I was her pallbearer at her funeral. But I'm letting you all know, a school, it will last. It stands the test of time. All this other stuff that they have out here in front of y'all, no. If you just concentrate on your school, concentrate on getting to school, start out small, and then gradually go. Gradually go. Just like the tortoise and that rabbit. A lot of people go fast. No, just take your time and it's going to pay off for you. So now what we're going to do, we're going to have some Q&A. And this video will be